Good morning, all. Myself, Sripriya P., first year MSc student of Central University of Kerala. I'm here to present a case study on the discriminant analysis in numerical taxonomy. Going to the upcoming slides, I'm dealing with the introduction, materials and method, and resultant discussion of that case study. The title of the case study is Linear Discriminant Function Analysis for the Characters of PGNP, that is Kajanus-Kajan accessions. The case study was published in the journal Nature, Environment and Pollution Technology, an international quaternary scientific journal in the year 2015. And the corresponding author of the case study is Pavan Kumar ST. Coming to the introduction, PGNP or Kajanos Kajan is a significant pulse crop in India. It contributes to over 70% of the world production and coverage according to the FAO in 2007. These pigeon peas can grow in low fertility and harsh conditions. The crop's root exudates are proposed to dissolve phosphate containing rocks, that making phosphorus available for the crop use. The knowledge of genetic variation pattern in the pigeon pea is essential for the planning, germplasm collection, and the efficient utilization of crop improvement programs. Here, the case study involved a total of 122 PGNP accessions, which are obtained from the Indian Institute of Pulses Research, which is located in the Kanpur, and the experiment is conducted in the agricultural research stations in Gulbarga, which is located in the Karnataka state. And the experiment took place during the year 2012 to 2015, and the study focused on the rainfed conditions, indicating that the irrigation was not applied and the crop relied on natural rainfall. The major objective of the case study is analyze variations in the different characters of PGNP under rain-fed conditions in 2013. And the analysis involved 122 accessions of PGNP. The study considered various traits for analysis, including first one is days for 50% flowering. That is how many days are they required to flower 50%. And next is day to physiological maturity. How many days they require for the maturity, physiological maturity. And plant height, which is measured in centimeters, and pods per plant, how many pods are present per plant, and next is pod bearing length, which is also measured in centimeters, and the seed per pod, in one pod how many seeds are there, and the next is 100 seed weight, that is in measured in grams, and the last one is seed yield per plant in grams. Materials and methods used for the study. There are two main statistical techniques were employed. First one is k-means clustering, and the second one is discriminant function analysis. The first one is k-means clustering, that is used to group the PGNP accessions based on the similarities in the mean value of the observed traits. And this helps to identify the natural clusters or groups within the dataset. Second one is discriminant function analysis, which is applied to discriminate and classify the accessions based on the observed traits. It helps to identify which trait contribute significantly to the classification. How to calculate k-mean value? The objective of k-mean value is clustering is to minimize the within cluster sum of squares. Minimize the within cluster sum of squares. That is, within cluster sum of square is defined as the sum of the squared distance between each data point, that is I, and the centroids of its assigned clusters. Here is the equation, and xi is the ith data point in the cluster k, and x bar is the centroid of the cluster k. Okay. Next is discriminant function analysis. The primary goal of discriminant function analysis is to determine a linear equation that can predict to which group a case belongs to. The equation takes a form similar to a regression equation as follows. as in shows in the figure. df, that is discriminant function, is equal to v1 x1 plus v2 x1 plus etc. plus vi xi plus a. Here df is the discriminant function. We represent the discriminant coefficient or weight of the each variables, and x is the score of the respondent for each variables, and a is a constant. I is the number of predictor variables. Okay. Here in the first table, we can see there are four clusters, cluster 1 to 4. The 122 accessions of PGNP are divided into four clusters. In first cluster, there are 14 accessions. In the next second one, there are 40 accessions. And in third one, there are 17 accessions. And in last fourth one, there are 51 accessions. Next is result and discussion. We can go to next slide. In this table, we can see the centers for each character in each cluster in the table. That is the cluster centers of different characters in 122 PGNP accessions. First character, that is day to 50% flowering, have 94.29 value, that is mean value in first cluster, and 92.43 value in second cluster, 138.98 value in third cluster, and 73.96 value in fourth cluster, and so on for the other characters as seen in the table. Table 4. Variations explained from the canonical functions. We have a total of 4 clusters. So we have the number of functions is equal to 3. That is 1 less than the number of clusters. We can see the 3 functions, then their eigenvalues, percentage of variance, cumulative percentage, and the canonical correlations. Here the correlation is high in the first function, and so on. The first three canonical discriminant functions were used in the analysis. Here is another table which shows the significance test of discriminant functions. There are three discriminant functions. Its significant test is shown here. The first one is first function through the third one. Then the second is second function through the third one, and the third function. And its Wilks lambda and chi-square analysis are also given here, and the last one is significance. The significance also valued here. In the stepwise discriminant function analysis, the significance of the characters, ports per plant, days to physiological maturity, days to 50% flowering, port bearing length have a high significance. In the next table, we can see the standardized canonical discriminant function coefficients. Here we can see in third function, days to 50% flowering have a high value, and in second and third functions, pods per plant have a high value. The classification result of predicted group says that about the misclassification and the correct classification of PGNP accessions in the four groups, that is four clusters. In the first group, the 14 accessions are 100% correctly classified, and coming to the second one, that is in second group they are classified 97.5% correctly, and one that is one accession is misplaced into the first group, that is 2.5% is misplaced into the first group, and in the third one, that is 100%, that is 70 accessions are classified into third group, third cluster, and in the fourth one, that is 49 accents are classified into fourth one, and the two are misplaced into second group. This shows the misplacement and the correct placement of the group, and the accuracy and the significance of the groups. From the previous dataset, we can say that the overall classification performance across all groups of PGNPs was reported as 97.5% correctly classified. That is, this suggests that a high level of accuracy in assigning accessions to their respective clusters using the discriminant functions. Here we can see the four graphical representation of each clusters, that is cluster 1 to 4. And here what they're showing is the centroids of the four clusters, which is darkened with dark blue color, are not too close to each other. When we consider these four graphs into a single graph, we can see that there is a separation between these four cluster centers, that is centroids of the clusters. That is, there is a significant separation, or there is a clear separation between these groups. This suggests that the accessions were classified correctly with no errors. The conclusion of the case study is the number of pods per plant, number of primary branches per plant, plant height, days to flowering, and days to maturity were identified as major yield contributing traits in Pigeon pea plant. The positive association with the seed yield were noted for these traits. And the next thing is the linear discriminant function proved to be useful tool for screening and evaluating the variations among PGNP accessions. And the study reported differences among the 122 PGNP accessions in days to 50% flowering pods per plant, days to physiological maturity, and pod bearing length. And the level of variations within the accessions suggests that their suitability as source material for the future breeding programs. And that's all about the case study. Thank you for watching.